Meeting to order.
Jenkins,
Here.
Harden,
Here.
Hahn, McKinley,
Yes.
Pearl.
Here.
I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We have no proclamations or public comments this evening. We move to section 1 consent agenda.
I'll make a motion to approve consent agenda.
I'll second.
Any discussion at all? Call it.
Jenkins,
Yes.
Harden,
Yes.
McKinley,
Yes.
Pearl.
Yes.
Motion carried.
With no unfinished business, we will move to section 3.
I'll make a motion to approve resolution 2013-21, sidewalk program in 312 West Green Street.
I'll second.
Any discussion?
Yes. Not that I'm against that sidewalk, but this ordinance that was passed back in '73, can we talk about that now or a bit?
We can talk about that now.
Where the landowners have to pay 2/3 or a third
A
of
third,
the cost.
Clark pays a third, landowner pays a third, and the city pays a third.
The city owner has to pay for a sidewalk that everybody views. I guess that's my grievance against
That is the way the ordinance reads as of right now, yes. And I wasn't, I don't know the logic behind it, but I'm assuming it was just for cost. I mean, if you can imagine that everybody had the city, the sidewalks done in any given time, then it would be fairly expensive to replace and repair all the sidewalks that need to be replaced here in town, so. But
The idea of it was that the Clark Foundation gave money. The city had to go there and kind of have an idea of what was going on for the year. I mean, it should have been that way if somebody wanted their sidewalk replaced. And the Clark Foundation was willing to put out, a third of the money and everything, but the homeowner put out a third. And the city, but you had to have the bids and everything to do it. And I don't know where that's gone in the future. I mean, I assume you understand, of course, that's still in effect and everything.
it is still done, yes, sir.
So 312 West Green is, I'm trying to think where that's at.
So I didn't recognize the
Who
name.
lives on that block?
West Green would be past the,
Oh, I know where it's at, but who lives on the block?
Michael Lane, over there by,
Where street is that? So
No, it'd be the other way. It'd be the other way,
It'd be
yeah.
Ed Young's, his dad lived. Tom Rick, he lived in 312 block, 300 block.
Was that where Jamie Smith's First Street, the babysitter?
Tom Rick, Nick O'Neill.
So Collins Apartments on that.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking too. Who wants, what side of the street wants it?
it'd be at 312, so.
312. So on the north side of the street, I think.
And is there an existing sidewalk there now? And what in the past I've run into, and this is on a personal note, is like if they have the old brick sidewalk and would like to have it torn out and put a new one in, this is a way that's inexpensive for the homeowner to do this. Because the city would pay a third, Clark Foundation would pay a third.
That was usually the case, and how it worked out because there was no brick sidewalk there. They took it out.
There's a lot of brick sidewalks there that you can't see now because of being grassed over.
Answer your question there, Mr. Pearl.
Well, yeah, I just thought it was sad or bad enough we got, taxpayers are paying for everything the way it is now, and we gotta pay for more to improve in front of our house. That's not fair. That's what my point is.
Well, if they're going to improve it, then I think it's only fair. It's only been a fair way to do it. It's usually been the homeowner who's wanted to go out and improve the property, improve the site. So, it's been a fair way. It's been done like that for so long. Ever since the Clark Foundation probably been in existence, and since their early 1960s.
Any other discussion? Call it.
Harden,
Yes.
McKinley,
Yes.
Pearl,
Yes.
Jenkins.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Moves to section 4, other items, city manager's report. It was on your desk here.
Just a couple things, and they're more follow-ups than anything else, but I had told you that the condition of the tractor out the sewage treatment plant, we thought that maybe it had a cracked head, but I called today and they said that it was just that the radiator was blocked, the water pump's out of it, so they're getting that thing put back together. While that tractor's been down, we've had all these harsh rains, so we've had a contractor come in and mow it so we could get that thing back in shape. We were anticipating that the EPA was going to be coming out and doing an inspection. That hasn't happened yet, but if you drive by the sewage treatment plant, it's looking pretty good now. The Green Street construction is anticipated to start in the morning. I met with members of the Farnsworth group today. We went over there and painted everything off, so if you drive over there and see all the paint marks, that'll be why. I ran into the library and talked to them in there, and the post office is also aware. Now, during the construction process, it is in the contract where they do have the right to close the street. They don't know if the contractor for the sidewalk will want the street closed, but if that happens to speed up the process, that is allowable. I had mentioned several months ago about the possibility of installing a sidewalk from Municipal Drive out to George Rock Drive. And it seemed to come across the council with some positive feedback. And then a couple weeks ago, Pat had asked me what was going on with that. So I've recontacted Phil Mayton at Farnsworth Group. Because the sidewalk would be along IDOT right-of-way, it does have to be engineered. And so Phil's going to put that on his list. He thinks he'll have a crew out here within the next couple weeks, start getting some points and everything, and see exactly where we want to do that sidewalk. And keep in mind that $30,000 has been set aside on a state grant, and we can use TIP funds for out in that area to install that sidewalk. Yes.
If they I think we can get that done before school starts, because that was a concern of those kids coming, walking to school.
I would see no reason why it wouldn't be. And of course, IDOT's got to sign off on it and everything since it's on their right of way. There's been some concern about, and we've discussed this before, North John Street, Asbro Road. I've got a hold of members of the county board that, and when you drive down 150 and you look, it says Asbro Road and it also says John Street. Portions of North John is actually in the city limits, and so there's been concerns about ambulance maybe not getting to the correct location or whatever. I've talked with county zoning, I've talked with the head of the county board. So we went out there last week and we put up some temporary signs on one of our signposts that shows that the 1000 through 1800 block of North John does go north of US 150. So any truck that's looking for that, or even the ambulance, which should be able to find it, but you just never know. As long as everybody's got their houses numbered out there correctly, you should be able to tell when you pull up there that North John does go north. And the last thing is we're having a bout with the farmland rest area. This is something that you should all need to know about. Might end up in litigation before it's all said and done. The night that the mayor had the last open house, which I believe was the 16th or the 13th, something on that date, got a phone call that the lift station on Depot Road at North John had quit. There was actually a building that had raw sewage in it. So the guys went out and they checked, and that lift station had failed because mop heads are being placed in the sanitary sewer that's coming from the rest area. They're making it to the lift station, and there those motors are getting locked up and burned up because of the mop heads are getting caught in the windings of the motor. So I've been in contact with IDOT, who informed me that there's actually a private contractor that runs that rest area. I've been in contact with them and their insurance company trying to get some type of settlement. The city's experienced several $1,000s worth of loss, and there's loss to that building out there that had the raw sewage in it. So hopefully we can get this worked out and not have to get attorneys involved in it. So, but right now I think we're probably somewhere around $10,000 And this happened several years ago, and the city didn't pursue it. The city ended up writing a check to the building owner out of their own coffer, so we're trying to avoid that. So that's what's going on with that. Other than that, that's about it.
Any questions to the manager and or his report? We'll move on to still in section 4, to non-agenda items and other business. Does anyone have any non-agenda items or other business?
Couple of things.
You're first.
One is this road that takes you back to the country club sheds. I've looked at it, it's terrible. And the way it was explained to me is that it should be a city street, the way I looked at it too, up to wherever the property line is. But we've got some holes out there that need filled in and addressed.
I'd have to go look. I know approximately where the pavement used to end, now
Okay.
where we used to keep it maintained. So I'd have to go look and see if that's still the same, or maybe it does need some city attention.
Yeah, we need to go down there and look at that.
Okay.
And then the other thing is getting a lot of complaints. I don't know what the ordinance is. That's why I asked about that a little bit ago on the roosters.
On the what?
On the roosters. I don't know. I don't know what we can do.
Well, here's, a rooster crowing would not be any different than a person who owns a dog that allows a dog to continually bark.
Right.
That is a violation. That's a noise violation. People have called into the city hall before, and I've directed Sandy and Ruth to tell the people that call that what they need to do is they need to come in and sign a complaint form. They sign a complaint form, then the owner can be cited for an ordinance violation. It's that simple. That rooster is not any different. I know which rooster you're talking about. That rooster is not any different than the barking dog, though. It's all the same.
Okay.
So if you know somebody, please tell them to do that.
Why do we have to have a complaint?
Why do we have to have a complaint?
Yes. If you know it's happening, you know where it's at, why can't you just go take care of it? Why can't the police officer go take care of it?
Because by statute, a police officer is not to be alarmed or disturbed. You as a citizen could be alarmed or disturbed, but if I was a sworn police officer, I'm not supposed to be alarmed or disturbed. If there's an ordinance violation, if there's a notice to appear written, and we have a true complainant who can come into court and testify that this dog barked at 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, or whatever the violation is, then the judge will see that a citizen was actually bothered, alarmed, or disturbed, and that is really the reasoning behind it.
Well, we've actually, I think we have two places with chickens.
2 places with roosters and chickens?
I think so.
I know there's one on Allen, but I didn't know there was another one.
Yeah, and one is, we may have 2 on now.
Okay.
So I think maybe we might, this ordinance that was set up for chickens was put in place for a child that had a 4-H project.
That's correct. They lived over on William Street.
Yes.
Yes.
And I just don't want to see it get out of hand. I don't know.
But a lot of municipalities allow chickens in their community, up to generally 6 it seems to be the number.
So anyway, do you need somebody to come in?
Very simple.
Councilman Parton, do you have any more? Is that it?
Yep.
Does anyone else have any other non-agenda items or other business? Yes, sir.
When I got elected to this position, I was never really officially informed, for one thing, which I think I should have been. And just a courtesy of a call and say that you got elected. The other thing too is I think that I should have been asked to come in here and sit down and be told what's going on. And I didn't get that courtesy either. And then I'm picking up things from city employees and everything over the past couple of weeks since the last meeting. Couldn't attend the last meeting because I had work just took me away from here that night. Planning on coming, but just couldn't make it. But I have not been told a thing. I asked for a work session, got a letter in the mail from the mayor that says we can't have one because the city attorney says we can't have one. Well, I think we can have one as long as nothing's going to happen at that meeting. You know, you can spell it out. It can be just a work session, it can be an open deal where you're just gonna talk. And I'm a little fed up. And after what I've heard this past week, what's been going on, I'm really kind of fed up. And I think it needs to stop around here. And you might not like me being here, but the people put me in here. So you better start learning to accept it, because you got me for 4 years.
Are you directing that at me?
Kind of.
Okay.
What's some of the,
Well, just anything, Matt. I mean, there's been a lot of things. I think I should have been brought in here and sat down and said, hey, here's what we're doing for you. Instead of kind of saying, well, you're going to go right along with us because we got the 4 votes here and we're going to do whatever we want.
well, I think that's your conception of,
I think it's a good conception.
we've got some things that we'd like to see go
Sure.
forward, and through the rumors, you haven't told us what your agenda is.
I have an agenda. I want to know. I'm part of the council. You've got something going on here. I need to know what is going on here.
Okay? I don't know that we're hiding anything.
I don't care either. But nobody's talked to me. Nobody wants to talk to me. It seems like.
There's nothing to hide. You was running for election. You could have come up here and watched the meeting before you got elected.
I know what's going on here, basically. I've been here before, so I know what's going on. But I need, I think it's a courtesy to do that with any, I think out of professionalism on his part, that he should have said, hey, I need you to come up here, I need you to sit down, and we need to kind of explain to you what's going on here, what we've got going on, whether you agree with it or not,
I think that's fair.
I think it's very fair.
I think Larry, we need to set up a meeting with the council person and fill him in, answering questions that he would have. But I also want our councilman to know that he's your employee. You are allowed to go to him at any time, at any given time, and ask him the hard questions and see him daily if you want. So that is fair. And if the council person would like me to also attend, that is his prerogative as well, or another council person as well. You can't have more than 2 in that meeting, but I think that's a very fair comment, very fair statement, and I apologize that no one has reached out to you.
I know your feelings on Larry as the city manager. I think he's done a real good job. He's done a lot better job than the 2 previous city administrators we've had. And I've never had any problems with Larry addressing. I'm sure what I talked to Larry about tonight will be looked into. And as far as you having the right to go talk to him, you have every right. And
I still think the courtesy should have been offered after I
well,
was
you
elected.
may be right.
Yeah,
And that's,
There's professional courtesy.
there is professional courtesy.
He is a representative of this community,
Right.
and the people have voted. So I agree. We need to rectify that as soon as possible.
but I think that goes both ways.
It does, but given that,
Yeah.
I think that his objection is too limited and very good. Any other non-agenda items, sir?
Yes. I asked you about the meters, the water meters. Do you know how many are not working?
I can't give you a number. I was just handed a list today of non-working water meters, but I
But I
can't.
think this is something that needs to be addressed pretty hard because you said take 2 years. And I think you need to sit down and realize the revenue that we're losing by not taking care of these meters, not putting them on a remote read for one thing. That would make a big difference around here. I've been in other communities and what I do and everything. I remember in one community I was in, the fella, he told me that we had a tremendous water superintendent because he said he was far ahead of the program 15 years ago and put remote reads in. He reads his meters in a half a day. Rides around the golf cart, reads his meters in a half a day.
Well, I don't want any misunderstanding. I didn't mean that it would take 2 years to get the non-working ones, because I didn't realize that the non-working ones, but we are updating with the radio reads. Now, that's where I said that it would take a couple of years because, quite frankly, they're very expensive. And so we can only put in so many a year. That's what I was saying would take approximately 2 years. There is a list that was just laid on my desk today about non-working water meters, which I didn't realize that there were as many as what there are. So, but that will be addressed, because that is a loss of revenue.
Tremendous loss of revenue.
But that's been an ongoing issue for,
It has been, and I
It
thought
needs to be an
that,
issue, it needs to get put to rest, because it's something that needs to get taken care of, because it is a revenue source and we're ignoring it, and have been ignoring it for too long.
well, I thought it was taken care of last fall, and then an incident happened with a certain employee. Work orders were never returned, so I guess you could say the ball was dropped by sure, but
I'm done.
Thank you, sir. Pat, do you have any non-agenda items?
No, sir.
If you don't mind, real quick, the temporary signs that have been placed on US 150 and North Street, the business owner's major complaint, of course, was if there was an injury, correct? And it was being able to find that via their navigation. That's not been addressed yet because of this.
well, that's a DeWitt County issue.
And I know that I've been following that. Has DeWitt County responded to these numerous emails that they've attached us to?
I have not seen any responses from anybody.
Can you find out when the next DeWitt County meeting is? Let me know, and then we can go up there and voice our concern for this business owner. I know that there was somebody almost was badly hurt last year, and the ambulance couldn't find him, and he's been doing what he can to reach out to DeWitt County, and they have not. They're not moving forward on this.
I think that the county board meets at one of the same Mondays that we meet.
Okay.
I'm pretty certain of that, but I'll find out when they meet.
Then at the very least, maybe we'll send a council.
County board meets like on
Thursday night.
Thursday.
It's a Thursday night.
Thursday's on there.
Yes, sir.
County board will meet this Thursday, and then they will meet the 11th, 18th, and 25th.
Okay.
They normally meet the first 3 Thursdays, but with the holiday, it's moved back to the second Thursday.
Sir, one more time, 11th, 18th?
11, 18, 25, plus they're meeting this Thursday,
Okay.
and that agenda will be finalized tomorrow at 1.
They meet that many times in a row?
There's no committees, so they'll hand out.
I have,
Tuesday or Thursday?
Hmm?
I thought it was Tuesday they met.
Yeah, they meet the first 3 Thursdays, all, except in July, it's a holiday, so it's pushed back.
this may sound silly, but I have play practice on that tonight. Is there a council person that would be willing to go up there
to the county.
to the county?
I've been trying to find out.
If you can, send me an email.
Would you be interested?
I'm busy during the week.
Okay, if by some chance, if you can give me an email, I would appreciate it, and then, we'll see what we can do. If not, I will make it. If we can't do it the 11th, well, no, it'd be the 18th, right? If I can't do it the 18th, then, Larry, can you send an official letter, requesting that this be taken care of? And then,
I'll go and address them if they'll recognize me.
okay. Well, we have a business owner that his complaint is not being addressed. So, on that, are there any- yes,
What do we need to do to fix this problem?
The road is owned by the county.
Okay?
It's named Ashboro Road.
How did that happen?
it's always been,
The 911 board
Okay.
accepted all the road names, and so it became Ashboro Road. The houses out there up to the interstate, back and forth across, are in the city limits. And so when Don Crawford was here, the city manager, he said that since there are properties on both sides, that should be John Street. So as those houses went through there, we started giving them John Street addresses. Soybean plant was built, Liquid Edge was drilled, 1 or 2 houses came in, whatever were built, they were given John Street addresses. Even the Monsanto plant has a John Street address. They're well outside the city limits, but they recognize John Street. So there's the confusion. Now, they signed a petition was started, because I typed up a pretty basic petition, and all but 2 homeowners signed it. Quite frankly, I could never catch them at home. Went there at various hours. Couldn't catch them at home. Even Monsanto signed off on it, that they wanted to be recognized as North John Street. They have a lot of stationery that says North John Street on it. I took that, I called Sherry Brown. She gave me this ordinance and a long process to get it changed. You had to go through the 911 board, then you had to go through zoning, and they had to sign off on it, then you had to go to the full board to get it recognized and get it changed. Even though it seems to be a simple process, it seems to be a drawn-out
Yeah,
process.
somebody's created that.
I then handed it off to a county board member who told me that he would work on it and see that it got taken care of, and that was several months ago. And still no
So
action.
we as a group here can't change that.
No, we cannot, because we don't own the road.
Any other non-agenda items? We would entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second,
Call it?
McKinley,
Yes.
Pearl,
yes.
Jenkins,
Yes?
Harden,
Yes.
motion carried.
Yes, sir.